Hello and welcome to the section 2 of module 3, week 3 in a project management professional training program. In this section, we're going to be looking at understanding the project manager's sphere of influence. Okay, this topic is foundational to comprehending the role and responsibilities of a project manager within the project ecosystem. So it's very foundational and is very vital to the success of any project. Okay, so let's go. Now, what are the project manager's sphere of influence, you might be wondering. All right, this diagram here gives a pictorial representation of the project manager's sphere of influence. So as you can see down here, you have the project manager. All right, then just outside of the circle of the project manager, all right, you have another sphere where you have three groups of people. You have the project team, that is the people who are working directly with the project manager on the project. And then you have those we call the PPP managers. PPP actually stands for public-private partnership. All right, so you have those managers, all right, who engage in partnerships with the public, all right, and also private organizations, okay, to ensure success within those projects. And then you have the ones we call the resource managers. People who are responsible for resources that are being used in the project, whether it is human resources, whether it is information resources, whether it is physical or material resources, or even financial resources, money. Okay, so you have those managers there. All right, so outside of this sphere, you have a larger sphere, okay, which includes the sponsors, the governing bodies, the steering committees, and the PMOs. PMOs actually stand for project management organizations. Okay, so depending on the size and complexity of the organization, you can have one, you can have several. Okay, so outside that sphere, you also have a larger sphere. Okay, here you find the stakeholders. Okay, we've talked about the stakeholders before, and I mentioned that the stakeholders are people who are involved in the project one way or the other, and whose involvement could positively or negatively impact on the outcome of the project. Okay, so you have the stakeholders, you have the suppliers, those supplying equipment, those supplying raw materials, all right, and the likes. And then you also have the customers and the end users. Okay, so these are the various categories of people and organizations over which the project manager has some form of influence. Okay, and his influence on these people or these organizations could directly impact on the success or the final outcome of the project. So it is very important that you have these groups in perspective, okay, so that you can know how to be able to take advantage of that influence you have over them, okay, and steer your project successfully toward the end goal. Okay, so moving on, let's now look at the spheres of influence. All right, in detail, how do we define the project manager's sphere of influence? So let's look at them. The project manager's sphere encompasses various dimensions where their influence and responsibilities extend. Okay, so this includes the project itself, the organization, the industry, professional disciplines, and across disciplines. Okay, so the project manager has of course a large influence over the project itself. Of course, we'll expect that. And then also the organization, the performing organization, all right, if he's working within an organization. And then of course he has influence over the industry, all right. Whether or not he's working within an organization, he's definitely working within an industry. Okay, so be it IT, be it government, be it finance, be it manufacturing, be it education, all right, be it construction, engineering. So whichever industry he's in, he has some form of influence, okay, over that sphere. Then of course professional disciplines, all right, he has influence over professional disciplines involved in his project, and then also across disciplines. Okay, so let's take them one after the other, all right, beginning with the project itself. What's the project manager's influence over the project? All right, so firstly, the project manager is the central figure responsible for planning, executing, and delivering the project objectives. So like we established before, every project has a predetermined set of objectives. Okay, so the project manager is the one responsible for planning, all right, and then executing that plan, all right, in order to deliver those set objectives for the of the project. Okay, and secondly, the project manager plays a critical role in defining the project scope, the project schedule, the budget, and also the quality standards. All right, so this is very, very important. You have to define what is the scope of this project, what does it include, what does it not include. Okay, you also have to determine the time allocation, that's what we call schedule, all right, allocating time resources, and then also the budget, and then the quality standards for the project. The decisions of the project manager impact on the allocation of resources. Okay, it also impacts on risk management as well as stakeholder communication. So the decision on how the various resources that you're using for the project is going to be allocated rests solely on the shoulders of the project manager, whether it is time, all right, what duration of time is going to be assigned to different activities. Okay, that is the call of the project manager. Risk management, how are the various risks in the project going to be managed? What are the mitigation measures that are going to be adopted? Okay, so that also rests on the project manager. And then also the stakeholders, how do you communicate with them? How do you disseminate information with to them? What channels do you use? When should you communicate to them or with them? So those decisions rest on the shoulders of the project manager. And then also, effective project leadership ensures that the project stays on track, meets its goals, and delivers value to stakeholders. So the project manager provides the leadership, all right, that is essential for keeping the project on track and making sure that the project is meeting its intended goals and delivering value to the stakeholders. Okay, so leadership is very, very key as far as the project's success is concerned, and the project manager delivers that effective leadership necessary for a successful project completion. Okay, so let's move on to the next area where the project manager has an influence, and that is on the organization, the project organization, or the performing organization. Okay, so the project manager acts as liaison or a liaison officer between the project team and the organizational leadership. Now, you need to understand that the project team is like a mini organization inside of the larger organization. It is a micro organization inside a macro organization. All right. maybe in a company or a firm, you have a project going on, and then a project team has been constituted, and you have someone who is heading that team as the project manager. Okay, so that project team, which is headed by the project manager, is operating within the company, within the organization. So the project manager and his team are answerable to the leadership of the organization. They are answerable to the CEO, to the general manager, right, to the chairman, the governing body of the organization. All right, so the project manager is the one that acts as a liaison officer. So whatever is going on within the project team, he reports to the head of the company or the head of the organization, who has assigned him as the project manager of that project and the leader of that team. All right, so he acts as a middleman between the project team and the leadership of the organization. All right, so the project manager also aligns the project goals with the strategic objectives of the organization. So every organization has its strategic objectives. Okay, if it's a construction firm, of course they have their strategic objective, maybe to be the number one construction firm in the industry by the year 2040, or to dominate at least 70% of the construction industry by the year 2050. Whatever the strategic objective is, okay, the project manager has a responsibility to ensure that the project goals align with the strategic objective of that organization. Okay, then also decision making regarding project priorities, resource allocation, and risk management falls under the purview of the project manager. Okay, so decision making is very critical. Most of the job of the project manager has to do with decision making. He's going to determine resource allocation. He's going to determine the risk management measures that are going to be using. All right, so all these are the role of the project manager. As far as the organization is concerned. And then also, successful project managers ensure that projects contribute to the organization's growth, competitiveness, and overall success. Okay, so the only way that a project manager can ensure his success is to ensure that the project that he is overseeing is contributing to the growth of the organization generally. All right, ensuring that the organization is competitive within its industry and the organization is successful. Okay, so that is what will determine the success of the project and also the project manager. So the project you are carrying out has to be contributing to the growth of the entire organization. All right, so if there's a project within your organization and you have been assigned as the project manager or the project leader, so you have to align the project goals to the growth of your organization. That is very, very critical. Okay, moving on, let's look at the industry. This is another sphere where the project manager has an influence. Now, the project manager is responsible for keeping projects compliant with industry standards, regulations, and best practices. So as a project manager, you have to find out what are the industry standards, okay, for your industry. Maybe you are in the government sector, right, or you are in the construction industry. What are the compliant standards? What are the zoning regulations? Okay, what are the standards of performance? Okay, what are the planning regulation, right, for your industry? All right, so you have to understand those, and then what are the best practices, right, the acceptable best practices in your industry, so you ensure that the project that you're carrying out is compliant with those codes and also standards and regulation. All right, the project manager stay updated on industry trends, emerging technologies, and market dynamics. So as a project manager, you're going to have to be savvy with technology. Okay, so what technologies are relevant for today, okay, as regards the project that you're carrying out? What tools are you going to be using? Okay, and then what are the market dynamics that are prevalent today and that are relevant to your project? What are the industry trends, okay, that are happening today? So as a project manager, you have to be up to date, keep yourself up to date, be informed. All right, that's just the bottom line. Okay, then also project managers often collaborate with industry peers, associations, and experts to gather insight and leverage industry knowledge for project success. So as a project manager, you have to find out what are other project managers doing, and it doesn't necessarily have to be in your industry. You could look outside of your industry. Okay, what other projects are going on? Who are the project managers responsible for those projects? How are they doing what they are doing? All right, and then also get yourself involved in association and industry experts. You can go online, check them online. Do you understand? So as to know what they are doing, and then leverage on their industry knowledge, which you can apply to your own project for success. So let's look at professional disciplines, which is the next sphere of influence for the project manager. The project manager brings together professionals from various disciplines. All right, engineering, IT, marketing. Okay, so he brings all the subject matter experts or all these professionals from different disciplines to work cohesively or collaboratively on a particular project. So you're going to be having different eggheads, all right, who think differently as far as their professions are concerned, and then you're going to have to be able to get them to think together and work together and be on the same page for the achievement of the goals of your project. So that's very, very important. All right, the project manager must understand the unique needs and perspectives of each discipline. So if you're working with engineers, you have to understand the unique needs and perspective of the engineering discipline. You're working with medical professionals, the same thing. You're working with accountants, okay, for your cost management and your budgeting and planning. You have to understand the unique needs and perspective of the accounting discipline. You're working with marketers, you're working with production people, sales people. You have to understand the perspective of all these disciplines. Are you getting it now? So you have to be able to speak in their language. You have to be able to understand their jargons and be conversant with the way they communicate and how they communicate. All right, this will go a long way in helping you to be able to get them to work together. Okay, so also effective communication and leadership skills are crucial for bridging gaps between different professional disciplines and ensuring everyone works toward common project goals. So effective communication and leadership skills are crucial for bridging gaps between different professional disciplines and ensuring everyone works towards common project goals. All right, so in working with these different professionals, all right, from different fields and disciplines, effective communication is very, very important. First and foremost, I already said you have to understand their language. You have to be able to speak in their language. All right, so that's a very, very critical aspect of effective leadership if you're going to work with these professionals. Okay, so moving on, let's look at across disciplines. What is the how does a project manager influence across disciplines? All right, or what is the project manager's influence across disciplines. All right. So the project managers often work on projects that require cross-disciplinary collaboration. So like I already said, all right, one of the characteristics of a project is that it is multidisciplinary. Okay, it involves several functional lines. Okay, most of the time you have to bring different professionals together, so you have to collaborate across disciplines. Okay, so they facilitate communication and synergy among team members from diverse backgrounds. So you have to be able to communicate, all right, with members from different professions, from different fields, and be able to create that synergy that is necessary for effective collaboration. So by integrating knowledge from multiple disciplines, project managers optimize project outcomes and foster innovation. Okay, so this is very, very critical. You're bringing knowledge from multiple disciplines together. So this helps you to be able to optimize the outcomes of your project. And then you can have fresh ideas, you know, different perspectives, all right, based on the views from across different disciplines. This will help to foster innovation and help you get the best work or the best outcome for your project. Okay, so how does all this impact on the project success? The project manager's actions and decisions directly affect the project success. That is very, very critical. So like I said, a large part of the project manager's job, over 80% of the project manager's job, is oversight functions. All right, he's overseeing, he's making decisions. Okay, and those decisions impact very, very significantly on the outcome of the project. All right, the project manager's sphere of influence extend beyond the project boundaries to ensure an alignment with organizational goals and industry standards. Okay, so that's very critical. Okay, so now we're going to be looking at some case studies, right, and real examples, okay, to illustrate how a project manager's sphere of influence can impact project outcomes. So if you're ready, let's look at some real world examples. All right, so the first one we're going to be looking at is the Denver International Airport. Denver is a place, it's a state in the United States of America, and they have an airport there, an international airport. Okay, so what happened is that in the case of the Denver International Airport, during its construction, right, which is a masterpiece, as a matter of fact, you should look that up, the project manager's sphere of influence was critical in ensuring that the project was completed on time and within budget. The project manager was able to leverage his relationship with key stakeholders to ensure that the project stayed on track. Okay, so it's very, very critical. That's the influence of the project manager over the stakeholders. So in this case of the Denver International Airport, he was able to leverage on that to ensure that the project stayed on track. Okay, so let's look at another example, the London Olympics project. Okay, this was around 2012. The London Olympics project was completed on time and within budget, due in large part to the project manager's ability to manage his sphere of influence. You can see this gigantic project we have here, right? That's the London Olympics project. Is the stadium that was used in the London Olympics, right, 2012. Okay, then the project manager was able to build strong relationships with key stakeholders and ensure that everyone was working toward the same goal. So this is very critical, all right, through communication. And one last one. Let's look at the case of IBM. The project manager at IBM was able to use his sphere of influence to turn around a failing project. He had a failing project there, and the project manager, by building strong relationship with key stakeholders and working closely with his team, he was able to get the project back on track and deliver it successfully. Okay, so you can see how the project manager, using his influence, were able to bring about success in these examples that we've shared. I'm going to be leaving the links, all right, to these case studies in a training platform, so you could look them up and get more details about them. Okay, so what are the key takeaways from this section? Yeah, now you've been able to recognize that the project manager's influence extends across multiple dimensions. All right, you've understood the significance of the project manager's role in ensuring project success. And then we've also we've seen practical examples, right, of how the sphere of influence affects real projects. Okay, all right, here we go, ready. So congratulations for coming thus far. You've taken the first step in understanding the expansive influence of a project manager. In our next section, we will delve deeper into exploring the project manager competencies to uncover the essential skills and knowledge required for effective project management. Okay, so see you in the next section.